God, that's like a stupid question.
Isn't it the worst?
It is.
He saw me in Home Alone. I don't think that's how you cast someone, is seeing a 7-year-old pee the bed.
Because I love kids, but I have a lot of really good furniture. So Okay, my first question is this.
Okay, you're going first.
Yeah, why
Go.
not? I mean, let's.
Rock, paper, scissors. Now you go.
Okay, your bracelets.
Yeah.
Are they symbolism?
No.
Something your kids giving you?
Some of them are kids. It's not that. This is a gift I bought on Virgin Airlines for my wife. You know how you
Oh,
can.
really?
Yeah, and she didn't like it, so I wear it now. I did that on purpose. I bought something that I thought she.
Wait, you bought it on Virgin Airlines?
Yeah, you know they have like a shop thing. I was just
I
curious.
never knew anyone actually did the shopping.
Me either.
off of
So
that.
I did it as an experiment. I was like, you guys like, so do you actually have this on the airline or do I get it when I land? They're like, no, we have stuff.
Wait, what?
And they have like jewelry and stuff. They have like cologne. It's weird. It's not just like lunch. They have like things you can buy.
Okay, wait a minute. So you bought that and you were like, I'll take that before I leave, and then
I was
they brought it
debating
to you?
between a couple things. And I was like, she's probably going to hate this. And if she does, I get to wear it.
That's
But at least
actually
I gave her
really
a
smart,
gift. I know. It
So
was
like if you
inspired.
need to get a gift
For
you know,
myself, I
right.
just give it to her. When she doesn't like it, I go, well, I can't return
So
it. 'cause
when
I'm
did
not
they
gonna get
give
back on
you
Virgin Airlines.
the bracelet? When you were getting off?
No, like right away.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it in a
Next
case or
time you're
anything like
on-
that? Was it in a little
Yeah, it came in
package?
a little box. It was a shitty box. It wasn't like expensive. It's not like nice jewelry. Or
Okay, now
anything.
what about the other things? Only
My daughter gave it to
it's so
me.
significant.
My daughter gave it to me. This was somebody on a red carpet that was wearing it, and I said, can I have it? My daughter gave it to me. My daughter made it. My daughter gave it to me. This was somebody in an audience that gave it to me. This was some dude who was wearing a bunch of bracelets, and I said, can I have it? And this I got in Mexico with
Well,
my
first of
wife.
all, I love that you remembered exactly everyone. That's maybe because
It's only like a month.
just a month?
I would say so. I mean, except
No.
for this. This was a few months ago. But yeah, you build it up, and then when it gets too big, you take it all off and start again. It's funny, if you just ask people for things, sometimes they give it to you. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you that person? Are you like?
I do.
Could I have
like,
that sweater?
Yeah, it was J. Smith Cameron, actor. She got really pissed at me because we got on a flight together, and before the plane even took off, the flight attendant gave me her bracelet, and she's like, who the fuck are you? How did you do that? I said, I just asked. She had a lot of bracelets. I said, can I have one? And she said yes.
Was it like just like a little simple bracelet, or was it like a Cartier or
This
something?
is really good. I think actors are learning a lot right now about
About
the
grifting?
craft.
About the
Yeah,
grift?
about the grift. That's what it is. It's basically all acting is. It's just asking for shit and hoping that the person
Right.
gives it
But
to
that's
you.
what I do. We do.
And then
we
you get all
always
the
do that
credit
in the morning, though. We
for-
walk
yeah.
in and we're like, I received my breakfast. I received my hair and makeup. I'm not doing.
Do you do
anything.
that?
Yeah.
You let them like bring you the breakfast and the coffee and shit?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do?
that.
You go.
I
You
don't
go
like
and
it.
get
It
it.
makes me uncomfortable. I go get it.
Wait. Why
I don't
does it
really eat in
wait,
the morning
wait.
anyway.
Why does it make you uncomfortable?
I don't know. I don't like people bringing me shit unless like I have to. Like there really
But you've
isn't
been
time.
doing this for a long time. First
Yeah.
of all, I wanted to open this, everyone. I wanted to open this by saying, which is maybe odd because I'm older than you, but I grew up on your movies.
Are you older than me?
Yeah.
Really? I wouldn't have thought so.
You,
How old are you?
not? Well, you know, we maintain. You know.
Okay.
I'm 54.
Get the fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
I'll
didn't
be-
mean to
I'll
be
be-
so loud.
I'll be
I would have
55
guessed
on
10 years
Thanksgiving.
younger
Exactly.
than that.
10
No
years
shit.
younger, yeah.
Yeah. Look at you.
It's hydrating, and
You moisturize?
I'm black.
Yeah. Oh, that. Well, you are.
That'll do it.
I didn't notice.
I don't see those.
I don't see those things. Oh, what? Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Wait, how
I'll
old
look
are
it up.
you? You're.
You said you did a deep dive. You
Yeah,
looked
but
me
not
up.
that deep. I
Google
I
me.
forget certain
Not
things.
that deep. It's like the first thing that comes up. It's like height and age. It's like
42.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
Good.
did get it
yeah,
right.
you got it right.
Okay, see, I downloaded a lot of information, but I didn't want to seem like I was reading off cards and everything. I was just like, I want to get to know you, like it's our first cup of coffee.
It is.
You
They
still
took
didn't
my
tell me what your
coffee
sign was, though.
because it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as sign.
Oh God.
You actually believe in this hocus
You
pocus
just
stuff?
called me out for being a Sagittarius.
Yeah,
so
because
you believe
Sagittarius
in
is a funny word. That's why I said it, and you're.
It was
just
a
like,
punchline.
It was a punchline. If I said Aries, it's just not gonna. It's not gonna hit
But
the same way.
you dialed in. You were like, yeah, you may be a Sagittarius.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
well,
because it's funny.
That's
Because
me
like
doing you.
nobody's a
That's-
Sagittarius, by
No,
the way. Nobody
I'm
is.
a Sagittarius.
Nobody is. There's
Anna
no
Nicole
such thing.
Smith was a Sagittarius.
No, she wasn't. She was a person
No, she,
who had like a birthday. That's all.
I just wanted
And
to bring
you
her
don't
because
wanna,
we shared the same
Have you ever done
birthday.
this when people say like, "Can you read my horoscope?" Like I like to read someone else's. I would read you Libra, and you'd be like, "That's interesting."
That, no,
applies to-
no, it's not true.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No, it
totally
totally
isn't
does.
true. It is
I
not.
mean, it's like the whole thing is to be so general to reach
No,
out
it's
to everyone.
specific when it comes to attributes of your personality.
Yeah, horseshit though. Like actual
gonna
horse.
tell
I
you.
feel like it's proven. The moderator's losing her mind. She's like, "You're not talking about
like, we're not talking
projects
about
or
films,
acting.
we're not
You're
talking
not,
about anything.
No, this is it.
This is
We're gonna do
just-
this for 45 more minutes, just so you know. We're about to get into ghosts. Do you think things are haunted? Someone's like, "Oh, your hotel's haunted." I'm like, Nothing's haunted." What does that mean?
Like I was saying, I grew up on your films, which is
you?
wild. Yeah, because you've been doing movies way longer than I have.
No shit. Well, how long have you been acting?
I've been acting for 34 years.
Okay, you barely beat though. 36.
36, but
36 years. So that's.
You started out.
I was 6 years old, so.
Wow.
Math. Wait. So hold on. I need to get into this
What?
because I don't know if you're counting this as part of the acting gig. You started in the circus.
I did. I love that tickles you.
Yeah, it does.
We said we were going to. Well, yeah, I started out like when I started.
How old?
I was 21.
21.
21. Listen, I went to school to be a journalism. I was a journalism major in school at Temple University.
Is that the trajectory you thought you were going to have?
Yeah, I thought I was going to be like a diehard journalist. I wanted to do photojournalism. I wanted to go to like war-torn countries and take photographs of it.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Did you ever pursue that properly, or that was just
no,
sort of an
but
idea?
my photography became more of a hobby. So I would do like portraits and headshots. Really, I did most New York actors headshots when I always
Really?
had side hustles. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
and that was one of them. And then
Is it boring to take pictures of actors?
no,
Faces?
you know
No?
what? I love looking at faces, and I love like getting the story out of them. I'm like, I would sit here and I'm like, oh yeah, tell me, your deepest, darkest secret, but just through your eyes, and I snap the photograph.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you still have a lot of that work that you've done?
I do.
Really?
I do actually. Yeah.
Do you still do it now?
No.
No?
No. I feel it's funny.
busy?
It was just like for a long time I was doing photography, and then it just sort of like fizzled out. I think my interest just changed.
That makes
I
sense.
haven't picked up a camera in a long time.
Was a lot of this stuff
In New York.
before the circus or after the circus?
This was.
I'm gonna keep coming back to the circus.
This was during the circus, but my circus years it started in San Francisco because I moved to San Francisco from Philadelphia.
What was the purpose of that? Was that in pursuit of
Oh
journalism?
no, it's
or-
just I was just trying to become a person. I
Oh,
was just,
okay.
I moved to San Francisco. I had a bunch of buddies moved out there.
Okay.
And I had an offer from a good friend of mine. There were 3 guys living in a studio apartment in the Tenderloin district of San Francisco.
Okay.
And do you know the Tenderloin?
No.
Okay, it's women of ill repute are out there. Things like that. It was fun. It was artists. Sexy.
Got it.
And I thought I'll move up there, and I become the 4th person living in a studio apartment, and it was cool. But you do that when you're 21. I wouldn't do that shit now.
Yeah, I mean, one would, but yeah, I didn't. One would join the circus.
Right. But okay. But going back to the circus. So then.
And how many years did you do the circus? Because you said years.
I was in the circus for 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah, that's long enough.
But you had a lot of jobs, right? You had
Yeah.
there was a few things you did there, right?
I was a bartender for many years.
No, I mean in the circus.
In
you
the
had
circus?
a couple of
Yeah. Oh
different
yeah.
roles,
Well,
right?
you want to stay with the circus?
I do, because there was like a lot of, because you rattled off like 4 different things you did in the
Yeah.
circus, and I was like, for 18 months, that's like a lot of things to do, and those were like
because
performance things.
Yeah,
weren't
because
they?
I got trained. I got trained by these, Chinese masters and all. It's called Make a Circus. It was an offshoot of Pickle Family Circus.
Okay.
And so all the same people were training us. And I was 21. I read it. And backstage there was an audition for, people who are willing to, try new things and physical and, you'll be trained. I was like, yeah, I'll try it.
Was that your first time sort of performing in front of people, or did you do any of that in high school or anything like that?
That actually was my first time performing in front of people.
Did you have like a feel that you liked then, or was that not, that sort of came later?
It's funny. I was just trying to get a gig, and
Yeah?
I was trying to get a gig, and I was like, I want to perform, and I was, I was figuring things out because I've only taken a couple acting classes actually, when I was in school, and also at the Walnut Street Theater School. But I don't have a degree in acting or anything.
I mean,
learned
me either.
everything.
Did you find any of it helpful? Any of the stuff you took from acting classes?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I
have to
think
about it.
the one thing I really learned was how to use my imagination. You have us laying on the floor and doing breathing exercises and filling your body up with orange juice and things like that. So I feel like
and you like that?
I think those exercises were just to get my mind going. I'm like, oh, I can believe that I'm doing these things. And
Were there some things that didn't really click? Because I feel like there's always, I feel like some people go into these experiences going like, I need to listen to everything my teacher says as if it's like the gospel or something, and it's like not. I
Right.
feel like some things might apply to you, but not to
some
others,
things just don't work for you, I think.
Yeah, but did you find that there were some things you were like, I'm gonna.
I think maybe one of my first teachers told me I'm going to give you some tools and you can use them, but you also want to expand your toolbox. Sometimes you want to
Great.
make a collage for a character, if that makes sense. Anything I do, it's always like the first time I'm doing it. I mean, do you feel that way
Great.
too?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I don't want to do anything sort of the same way. I don't have sort of a method or
Yes.
of how I do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, this one requires this. I need to do this. I need
And
to.
the moment you start doing that, you're just like, well, now I'm like become complacent, and now I'm kind of bored, and I don't want to do this thing anymore.
Well, yeah,
It's
because I
not,
always
new.
want to feel like I might just fail. I
Yeah.
might just fuck it all up.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, you cast me. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. Well, that's also why I like auditioning too, is like, okay, you've seen me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like when I don't audition and then I'm on the set and I'm like, okay, I'm going to say these words. I hope you don't hate it.
Wait a minute. Wait.
because
You're auditioning now? Still, you don't audition.
in theory.
But you want the
I
opportunity
like it because
to.
whenever I show up on a set and I haven't auditioned, I'm like, you might not like this at all. Like you just did this because I don't know, maybe there's some politicking
Maybe you saw something that, yeah.
or some producer said you got to give it to this guy and they don't. I don't know. Like but if I've auditioned, then you've at least heard my voice, you've seen my face, and you kind of know what you're expecting.
But that's why, you know what I do? When I don't get an audition, I still want to meet with the director because I'm like, we need to talk about this because you might not like
True.
what I'm thinking about, right? You know what I mean?
I did on my movie. We did a phone call. He gave me the script and
Wait,
did a phone call.
what is the
and
name
offered it
of
to
your
me.
movie that we're talking about?
Oh, the name of the film is called The Real Pain. in select theaters. I think we should check on her.
Benji, maybe she wants to be alone.
No one wants to be alone, Dave. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Hey, why are you walking alone? Are you a big fucking loser? Jesse Eisenberg sent it to me, and then we had a phone call, and he offered it to me.
Yeah.
I found out about a year and a half after we shot it. We were in Telluride on a little like stupid gondola, going up doing like a phone interview together on speaker, and he said that he like hadn't seen Succession, and I said, yeah, but you've like seen some of my work, and he went, no, you've seen me on stage, and he went, this is like on a phone interview, like don't out me, I've never seen your work. He cast me without auditioning me or without seeing me in anything ever. And he thinks this is a totally normal way to cast people in a movie, by the way. He thinks he still
So
justifies it.
what was it about you though that he?
He's like, I met you before. I'm like, we met twice in passing. That is not how you cast someone. Like,
You know what, I'm going to argue.
he saw me in Home Alone.
But I'm going to argue that though.
I don't think that's how you cast someone, is seeing a 7-year-old
You
pee
can
the
get
bed.
a sense of a person just by like, listen, I've passed you a couple times. The last time was at Sundance actually. You're sitting in the lobby of the Pendry Hotel.
Okay.
And I walked by and you just won the Emmy. And I was like, yeah, you just
Wink the
won
camera.
the Emmy.
Earlier this year.
And I got a sense of you very quickly. I was like, cool. He's a really, just the way you make eye contact with somebody. I think honestly you can get a sense of a
think so?
person. Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty. But you wouldn't take that little interaction you have with me and then go, I'm going to cast him in like the major role in the thing that I just wrote, and I'm going to direct, and I'm going to hand it over to him without
I don't
an
know, but I
audition.
think that you're kind of a unique person. I think you sort of like, you're not like somebody like, oh, you got to figure out this person's personality, and you seem like, because you give off, you're a bit of a, how can I say it?
Maniac.
No, a maniac. Yeah,
Psychopath.
I could say
bipolar.
maniac. No, I would actually say you're a very dangerous actor, and that's kind of actor I like.
Oh, okay.
You're like, oh, he'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
But also you can go to the
And
like.
I don't take notes either, so.
You don't take notes?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but let me tell you about your work, because now I want to really talk about your work.
Here we go.
Your work is beautiful in Real Pain.
Oh, thank
and
you.
also, he's a pain in the ass.
I got to pee. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll get that. Don't worry.
And you're like, I'm not sure if I like him or not. Is he a bit of a narcissist? But then there's something about him that's so honest that you're attracted to. But I also thought that that's what you, the actor, understood about him, had to bring into his life. I don't think,
Yeah.
I don't know if on the page he's that dude.
Well,
He's
I thought it
contradictory
was.
and all. You thought it was?
To me, but Jesse told me after, which is weird again because he didn't audition me or anything, and we never talked about the character or anything. I showed up like I think the day before we were going to shoot and just started doing it. But he had told me that he had written it differently. But that's how I saw it. I mean, the guy is so.
He's full of contradictions.
Yes, totally, and he's completely surprising and just a spontaneous person. You don't really know what's going to come out of him. So I made a point to not prepare at all. So it's like.
And when you said that yesterday, and I was like, what does that mean, actually, not prepare at
It
all?
literally means like I read it a year before, said yes, and then I read it a couple weeks before flying to Poland to shoot it.
You didn't think about it at all?
No, I didn't want. It was the only time I read something where I was like, I have no questions, I have no notes. It's there. Let's just do it. Let's just get in there and do it.
And what was the first time you did something like that? To just like sort of
Yeah.
go in there like raw? in a
On
way?
Succession, pretty early on, I'd say like 4 episodes in, I was like, okay, I don't need to prepare. I kind of understand this guy. He's the kind of guy, Roman was the kind of guy that was like, he'll just sort of blag and bullshit any situation. So I figured I could take that approach by just sort of figuring out what the scene was as we're doing it, because that's the kind of brain he had. So Benji, in A Real Pain, I don't think he thinks at all before he does anything. He's going to come in at any temperature he wants. He'll come at you hot or not, and he doesn't even know what he's going to do, but it's going to be different than what you're expecting. So I made a point to not plan it. I would literally be walking to set asking Jesse what scene we're doing, which would give him a real panic attack. And he's like, you have a whole like page-long speech. I'm like, I learned lines fast. That's fine. I just look at the lines really quickly and go, great. Let's find out what the scene is by doing it. And usually by like take 1 or 2, it was right there. But that's a testament to how you can't do that with all. You can only do that when the writing is that fucking solid and full. You can't just mess around.
Are you someone that pays attention to marks?
No, I don't do marks.
I had a feeling. I was like, wait a minute, I bet this.
Succession, we didn't do marks, so now I've adapted to that. Because I mean, I started doing it as a kid. So when you're a kid, like your job is to hit your mark and say your lines and, you know, vaguely understand why you're saying your lines and look cute. And I could do those things.
Are you aware of where cameras are?
Vaguely, but that's also none of my business.
Okay.
That's their business. It's like oh, you need to turn the camera. No, I don't. You move the camera. I'm doing it like that. I don't know. And on Succession, we were really spoiled. No marks. We never did coverage. We never did like pickup shots. The cameras were always sort of somewhere.
You see my eyes are swirling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, amazing.
Really?
It's the best way to do something. You run it like a play. And a lot of times we wouldn't rehearse, so there'd be 3 or 4 of us just like shoot the rehearsal.
And how many cameras? What, 3 cameras going?
2 usually,
Okay.
unless it was like a big sequence, there'd be 3. There was like once there was 5 for like a big funeral scene. The funeral scene in the last season, I think there were 5 cameras on film, so they had to like figure out when to reload.
Well, wait a minute. You guys are shooting on film as
Yeah,
well? Okay,
the
so
whole
you're
time.
like, okay, everybody's just got to be game and in it already.
Always, yeah. And when we did the funeral, we shot a whole funeral
Why?
procession.
I got stressed out just now.
It's stressful. Our
and
director,
all of
Mark
that was
Mylod,
like-
you should have, like, it was like brilliant. He stood up in front of like, I don't know, a couple hundred background actors and an entire crew and explained what we were doing. And then we just did it. He was like, we're going to run a funeral procession. And the person playing the priest was an actual priest who runs funerals. And we started from the casket being taken from the car, being brought up the steps, and the music playing and going down. And we ran eulogies. We did the whole thing. It was like, I don't know, an hour or so of a take. And then took about an hour or so to reset, and we did it again. And that was basically how we did Succession. It was like actually doing the full thing. Cameras were somewhere. Always be on. There's no such thing as your coverage or anything like that. And so I kind of got used to that.
So you have to stay present the entire time.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
And you lean on the person that you're with, like, you know, and if you got really good scene partners that you're, you know, used to and you have a good rapport. I mean, I'm sure you're used to that too.
I am. Anger is the easiest thing to play. Am I right, Brent?
Too easy.
What's more complicated is to play hurt.
There's a scene I watched with Cornell Alston, plays Charlie.
Yeah.
So you weren't in that scene. Were you there that day?
I wasn't there that day, no.
Was that scripted, vaguely scripted, the thing he's talking about when he got out?
There's a script, but then there's devised moments of improv. But it's very much structured, like saying, he tells a story about this thing.
It's brilliant.
Because also my director knew stories from these guys, because all these guys he had a relationship with and knew them while they were in, you know,
But
places
he's
like Sing
such a
Sing.
good actor too, where it doesn't feel like he was prompted to be like, tell a story. It felt like he was actually just talking to these people and talking about his dog
And he'd
what it's
never
like
been
to
on
be out
camera
and making
before either,
pancakes.
which is
Get the shit
no,
out of here, Jesus.
Most of my cast is actually all of them have never been on camera.
You told me
before.
this yesterday, and you shot the film in 18 days.
Yeah.
And most of these people had never been on camera. That is
Yeah.
such a feat. 18 days to shoot an entire movie like that,
Yeah.
a scope like that, with these actors, and they're so good.
I think it's the energy that Greg Quita, our director, he's so gentle, and he invited everyone to just bring what they had and didn't judge whatever it was and the level of it. And I guess,
Great.
so, you know, they had me and Sean San Jose and Sharon Washington and Paul Racy as the actors to, you know, help give it anchors.
All fantastic actors, yeah.
You know, to give it anchors, but also then there's just like, you know, these guys were asked to just, hey, bring yourselves and bring parts of yourself and stories that you want to tell.
This silly bullshit we do every fucking 6 months, as if it fucking matters, man. And we're still fucked. We're still right back where we fucking start.
And I think that it was a very gentle set, which is wild. It's like to shoot at that pace.
Yeah.
But it also felt like we had all the time in the world,
Really?
which is pretty wild. It's like,
Yeah.
But also, it's like you're saying, I think it was the first time I allowed myself, to be honest, to be as raw and show up, because I couldn't because of time. I was literally shooting Color Purple right before and then doing pickups for Rustin right after. So I literally had 18 days. We shot my work in 16 days. That's why I needed
my
some days
God.
to just like be a person and get myself together, which is why I wasn't we structured the script in
Were you doing like 6-day weeks or anything like that, or was it 5-day weeks?
We did,
Okay.
we did 5-day weeks.
Okay.
And we knocked it out, but also I had to go in there a bit more raw in a way that I was uncomfortable with. It was the first time I actually did what you were saying you did. I was like, oh, because I like to know everything. I like
You like to prepare and
I like to
do
prepare
the-
a lot
yeah.
so I can be free. And this was like
Yeah.
the first time I was like, oh no, I just have to be my most raw self and not know exactly what's happening.
Because you quite literally didn't have the time?
Yeah, I didn't have the time, but also it made sense for this film in particular to like, because here I am working with guys who had the lived experience. I was like, no, there can't be any polish of performance. I have to like
Yeah.
lean into them and
good.
where they are. I can't, you know what I mean?
Did it give you a little bit of insight that like, oh, maybe I don't need to do all this work I've been doing? Like, I'm sitting in
guess.
my hotel killing myself over a scene.
I guess,
And
but,
then,
but maybe that's the part that I love. I've always
Yeah.
loved, I come from the theater and I love rehearsal and I love the practice of it. I love to know a lot so I can free myself on
right.
the set.
But don't you find that when your back's against the wall, you can still do the same amount of work when there's like, you give
It's always surprising that I can.
Yeah.
Like I always thought, oh, I don't have a great memory. I think, oh, I need time because I really want to get it under the hood and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
then
but when
like,
you have to and it's your job,
oh, when I
you
have
do
to,
it.
when suddenly
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, here's the new monologue for today. I'm like, oh, I can learn it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I know I need like a week.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
They're like, no, we need this.
No,
in
we
an
need it
hour."
now, so you're going to do it. It's your job. And then you can.
But I think I stressfully get it. But
Yeah.
I think I don't know. But there's some magic in that. But that's a place where you live naturally. You
Me?
seem to.
But only recently, and because I realized that if I put my back against the wall, I'm like, oh, I can actually. But like in a real pain, it lent itself to the character because he's so spontaneous. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can literally show up and not really know what the scene is and not know what I'm going to do because that's what the character is. But another character that might not really work well. And it's funny you're saying because like I'm supposed to be doing a play in the spring, and
What play?
used to find Glengarry Glen Ross. I thought you did your research.
I did some.
But I used to find doing theater so freeing because it's like, you spend the weeks rehearsing, talking everything out, and then everyone leaves, and it's just you on the stage with the other actor. I found that so freeing. Now I'm worried that I'm going to feel so restricted to the lighting cues and my mark and the choices I made in the rehearsal room a couple weeks ago because now I don't get to change anything.
But that's why
I'm
you got to
terrified.
But you're going to free yourself in rehearsal, which is great. You're going to free yourself and have liberties, and then find all those nuances.
I guess I
it'll
haven't done
shift.
theater in 10 years, so it's like I used to find that. Now I find like showing up on set and going, oh, I didn't know the room looked like this. Like, oh, do you need to rehearse or do you need a moment? Like, no, let's shoot it. Fuck it.
Who are you
I
doing
like doing that.
Glengarry Glen Ross with? Who are you doing it with?
Bob Odenkirk, Bill Burr, Michael
heard of them.
McKean.
Yeah.
You heard of them?
Yeah.
Great.
Hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recorded, you got that,
Yeah.
right? You called
Wish
them
you had a
hacks.
better cast.
Yeah.
That's fine. No, they're great. You're like
I get it. You're jealous. You want to be in. We
Basically,
can
that's
probably
what I'm
boot one of
saying.
those guys out if you want to come
Basically
in.
what
You
I'm
busy?
saying is, yeah, right.
I've been very sincere. I know how meaningful this is. I would never. Actually, that's not the intention of acting. Acting is just a process.
Did you feel a sense when you were on the set of Sing Sing that you're like, not like a number one on the call sheet kind of thing, but sort of like, okay, if these other actors aren't as experienced on a set, that there was sort of like a setting of the tone of what it's like? Yeah, you did feel that?
Well, I did feel like that I knew that I had to let them know what was possible, that they weren't going to be judged when
Okay.
it comes to whatever level that they were coming in at, and that if they needed something from me, I was here. And they can just
And
hopefully
also like speak up, like if you wanted to take, like it's okay, you can
Oh, yeah.
say that. You can
Absolutely.
advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. Like,
and,
how
you
was
know.
that for you? Exactly. Just like, or I would dial in just a few notes, like, because they were used to doing theater. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? If you just did that, it's just you and I. Just make it more intimate. And they were, okay. And they would go and do it. And suddenly, all this magic. Like, my castmates, I loved them so much because I just felt like we could do anything together because it really was just this true camaraderie.
Clarence Macklin is brilliant.
He's beautiful, isn't he?
He's so good. And did he have, because he's also producer, there's a lot, he was very involved in this. Was he also sort of setting a tone on set, or was this his first time?
It was his first film.
So were there nerves there, or was he sort of like running the...
I wouldn't say
show
there
a
was
bit?
nerves with Clarence. I would say, first of all, he's game at all times, and he just needs some light guidance to just say, "Oh, cool." But he's willing. All you have to do is just tell him what it is. Oh, okay. He'll be like, "Okay, cool. All right, cool." Like even there's this one take, which is my favorite of the film, which is when he has me cornered in a tight space, and I
Yeah.
tell him, I offer him the word beloved.
I remember that.
And he
yeah.
looks at me, and then he looked at me like he was about to knock my head off, and then he just walks away. I'm like, no. He's got to just really let that word work on him. So I leaned into my director. I'm like, could he just hang in there with it and see how that word, what that does to him? And he did. And you watch him wanting to beat the shit out of me, to the word working on him, and him making a choice to walk away. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love that. I have to give it to Greg Quidar, my director. He made sure and we shot it on film as well, and he rarely wanted to call cut. he just wanted to, because he always knew that there was more after.
Yeah.
And I'm used to that as an actor. I'm like,
Yeah.
especially with television now, everyone wants to cut so quickly. I'm like, yo, give me a little bit, because
Yeah,
I might
give
give
a
you
moment.
something.
Even if
I
you
might
don't
turn
use
into
it,
your
like-
rack focus right
Yeah.
here. You know, I'm like, there's
Yeah.
more. There's always more.
Yeah, you might not use it, but give me a
Exactly.
moment.
I
Like,
think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Instead, okay, got it, cut. I'm like, I know what I'm going to cut. I'm like, yeah, but I might give you something you might want to.
Yeah, or sometimes like on I remember on Succession, they would let it roll, so we would just like shoot the shit. They wouldn't use it, but it felt it like
Wouldn't it feel
informed us.
nice?
It was also like filling gaps with like, you know, the actors playing siblings
Yeah.
that we were sort of like filling in the gap for ourselves of like what's actually happening between these scenes. And I think it maybe informed the writers or other people too, and it sort of like made the thing feel a little more full. You don't need to use it, but
Right.
let it roll a little
Who
bit.
was one of your favorite scene partners?
Sarah Snook.
Oh, you just
I
came
just-
out the box. I didn't
I
even
don't
finish. Okay,
You're
good.
not supposed to have favorites. I have a favorite.
That's your
Sarah
favorite-
Snook.
your favorite-
She
your
was
favorite
like
child? Yeah.
the most pleased to work with her. Also, you should see her. She did a one-woman show of Picture Dorian Gray in London, and she's bringing it to Broadway. She plays like 30 characters. It's the most insane performance you'll ever see. It's insane.
Wow.
You should see it. She's brilliant. But she's the most fun scene partner. We'd just like fuck around. I would sometimes go like, hey, can you actually take my lines?
Who's
here?"
one of your favorite scene partners that you've worked with, period, in your illustrious
That's
career?
I'm still talking about
it's
her.
still
I'm
Sarah?
still talking
Yeah?
about Sarah.
Really?
Yeah, there would be times like just for fun, like, you know, like I would do things like in the middle of a scene, there's like 4 or 5 people in the scene. Like when it would like take 3 or something, it would come to her line and I would just take it. I would just like, I would just take the line and then give her a little side eye, like I just took your line.
And what would she do?
She would like give me this thing and then the scene would go on. And then when it was my line, she would take mine and go like, got you, bitch. Like, she was just fun, man.
That's
and
genius.
if I'm like flubbing or not quite getting it, instead of like going, hey, we can go back or something, there was no like stopping or going back. It was just like, I would get halfway through the line and go blah, blah, blah. And she goes, no, I know what you mean. I think what he's saying is blah, blah, blah. And just would say basically what my line was to continue the flow of the scene and just would pick up. If I dropped the ball, she would scoop it right up.
Oh my God.
She's fantastic. Do you have a favorite?
Here, I'm asking a question. I didn't even have an answer.
I
for mine.
know.
I
Isn't
would
that
say
shitty to get it back
I was on
at
this
you?
show for 8 years called Fear the Walking Dead, and Kim Dickens is probably one of my favorite scene partners.
Yeah?
She's an awesome actress, and I feel like we can go anywhere together. It's
Yeah?
like it was always that snap, crackle, and pop with each other. It was always feisty. Sometimes we play into this brother sisterhood. Sometimes it's a bit sexual. It was just always like a sparkle in our eyes. We're like, oh, what are you going to do with that?
Do you hope that like you guys can work together again?
I do.
someday?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like
Yeah.
we're not done. You know what I mean? I feel like I want to. I don't know. I feel like as I get older, I feel like and you have more opportunities to do things you want to do. You're like, just want to work with people I love.
I know.
More than anything, really.
I know, and I don't have like it was somebody. This was like 10 years ago or something. I worked with somebody that was it wasn't an actor, but it was somebody that was a real pain to work with. My movie. I remember like coming home and complaining to my wife about this person, and she was like, yeah, but the job's almost over. You never have to work with them again. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like I could actually not work with people that I don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
Like, but the thing is, you don't often get to work with the same people. At least in my experience.
No, mine either.
Yeah, you don't really, and that's a shame. Sarah Snook made me weep. It was when right before we were about to finish shooting, she goes. She was having a conversation with someone else. She goes, "Oh yeah, Kieran would like to hear this." Hey, and she stopped my conversation. She goes, "You're gonna want to hear this." I was like, "What?" She goes, "Are you ready to cry?" And I was like, "What?" She goes, "No one's ever gonna cast the two of us in anything. We're never gonna work together again." And I just went, "Why did you say that?"
Oh,
And I
wow.
just bawled. I just couldn't because. I mean, it's always possible, but it's like when you're on a show like that and we play brother sister, I feel like people will always make that kind of comparison if we work together again. So she's probably right.
Do you still see each other a lot, though?
She lives in Australia and she has a kid and she works a lot, so it's really hard to keep up. But like I try to. I'm not the best with the phone thing, and I always relied on the fact that there was going to be another season and we're gonna catch up. But she's my son's godmother and she's one of my favorite people in the world. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
Try to. I know, but that's why I ask. It's like, do you hope that you can still work with that person again?
Do you have because I feel like I know this to be true for myself. I know a lot of people.
Okay.
And people know that I'm very sociable. But I think when it comes to the people that are close to me, it's really small, actually.
Yeah.
You seem to me as being a gregarious person, likable, people like you a lot.
Okay.
Do you have a very small group of people,
My
or is it pretty large?
wife and my 2 kids, and that's kind of it.
That's it.
That's kind of it.
So when you're not working, you're at home.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
that's
like, what do you
my
like
whole
being
life.
about a father?
Absolutely everything except dinner time. Dinner time is so stressful, but I love everything else. Bath time, bedtime, those are kind of the favorite things. Just being there and Yeah, I think.
What do you think being a father has done to you or changed you?
God, that's a really, really good question. I certainly don't sleep anymore. I don't know, because it feels like nothing else matters. So it always feels like before, when I look at my life before I had kids, I'm like, oh yeah, this was some guy who like had hobbies and liked things. Like, this isn't a real person. This is like my favorite movie is
you
Who
became a
Cares,
real
you
person.
asshole. Yeah, like no, I'm a dad now, and that's my only actual role in life is that. That's real life.
Wow.
And all this is lovely, but I'm just trying to get home.
Yeah.
Do you ever want kids? Do you ever think about that?
I wanted kids in my 20s. I was one of those.
Really?
In my 20s, I wanted to be a dad.
Backwards.
Which is
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I felt like those.
You're supposed to be like getting hammered and not being hungover because you're in your 20s.
But because I love kids, but I just realize that they're not. How can I say it? I have a lot of really good furniture. So
it's true. Kids
so
ruin
I'm like,
that.
fucking up my shit.
I mean, kids ruin everything.
If your kids come over, like, sit them in that other room with the soft stuff, and
That's why it's like, see, I buy comfortable clothes. I found this one pair of
You said
pants.
you have
They're
three
really comfortable,
pairs,
and I
right?
bought 3 pairs of the same one because there will inevitably be cream cheese and everything else on this, and that's what parenting is. And parenting is eating food off the floor, or when they spit something out and you realize it's so much easier to just eat it than try to find a garbage somewhere. So I'm eating chewed up broccoli that's now in my hand and been there for a while, and it's cold and it's mixed with the chicken that they also don't like. So I go,
And you come from a big family. Do you have? Are there a lot of kids just with everyone?
No.
No.
No. I come from 7, but only me and my brother have kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
I thought there was
you would
gonna be
think
a
that
whole bunch of
that's
people
fu-
like,
no, I
like-
think you grow up around that and
genetics
you
out there in the
watch
world.
your parents go through that and go, I'm not doing that shit. Like,
Right,
I'm not.
right.
Like, I'm gonna have 7 kids in a studio apartment. You maniacs. Yeah. That's. Do you come from a lot? I didn't do my research.
You didn't do any research on me.
No,
It's fine. It's
54. That's crazy.
Fine. Exactly. I have.
I like being surprised.
I have 2 brothers, one older, one younger, and an older sister. And I grew up in Philadelphia.
Any of them in?
No one's
business
in our business except my younger brother he is a musician and a producer, but he's also an engineer as well. But he's somebody who's artistic. But otherwise, I come from like regular folks.
Can I ask? And we don't have to talk about the circus anymore. But how did you start acting? When did that thing come in? When did that? You were like journalism, circus, bartender.
Yeah, but
jobs,
listen,
gigs.
I never listen. Anybody in high school will tell you no one would ever think that I'd be an actor because I was shy. I was a geek. I wore my older brother and older sister's hand-me-down clothes. I wasn't cool at all. I just wanted to like get through high school without getting beat up. That was my goal.
Were you successful?
Yeah, I was successful because I was
Nice.
quiet. And I was always like behind big glasses and a sweater. I'd be like, don't look at me.
Yeah.
And then
Also, probably didn't hurt that you were 6'2".
I know, right? I went to college and I took an acting class as an elective. And I just took it just because like my mom was like, instead of just taking matriculating classes, take something to have fun. And I thought, she said, do something that sort of like gets you outside of yourself. And I was like, let me take an acting class. Only it was just random.
Really?
And I
Because
literally
you felt like easy.
I just
credit or
didn't know.
like-
I didn't
okay.
know what it was. 'Cause I didn't know. I mean, I didn't grow up around actors or playwrights or directors or nothing. You know what I mean? I didn't know you could have a career. Whoever did that on television, they were special people.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I gotcha.
my reality from working class West Philly was just like you go to college and then you get a good job somewhere with benefits.
Yeah.
But the idea of being an artist, that wasn't.
Yeah.
an
Nobody
option.
around you was doing anything
No,
like that.
not professionally.
Okay.
So I took an acting class as an elective, and my teacher literally pulled me aside one day and said, have you thought of acting as a profession? I was like, I don't even know what that is. He said, and literally his name was Chris Green. And he said, I'd be very curious if you did because I think you have a gift. And
Wow.
And it was the first time. It cracked my world open. I'm 18 years old. Somebody told me I had a gift.
Wow.
And I was like, I have a gift in this. Well, and he'd be curious if I followed this path. And I thought, so I literally started taking classes off campus at the Walnut Street Theater School, where I started to get involved in what theater is. And I was like, so I really would just want to be a theater actor. I still didn't know how you can get to television and film. I
Really?
thought like, I want to do theater. And I didn't grow up going to theater. I thought like, oh, this is cool to be with these weirdos and, becoming all these different things and learning text and all the research. Maybe that's it, all the research. That's the part that I love the most.
Oh, really?
So I love working in the kitchen on this stuff. So for me, that's
I see.
acting is all the process, which is why I feel like I need that because I'm like, I love months of preparation.
You do?
I do.
Wow.
I love it. I love the moment I get cast with something or say we're going to do it. I'm like, I'm already researching. I'm already,
Jesus.
building folders and, just digesting a lot, because that's the part that I love. By the time I'm on a set, and after a couple of takes, I'm like, now that part's over.
You were about to say bored.
I'm
You
almost
call yourself-
sad.
No,
I'm
yeah,
almost-
really?
I'm almost sad. I'm like, well, that part's over. Yeah,
Wow, maybe don't
there's
have
that
young
scene.
kids. There's just no time.
There's no time. You
For
have-
months of preparation? No, get out of
No.
here. You got to
can
get up
prep
at
when you can.
6:30 because they peed the bed and, all this stuff. Yeah, but yeah, good luck with your process.
Where do you
Getting them ready for
where do
school and
where
stuff.
do you go to unwind from all of it, to unplug? Do you have that moment?
I don't. I don't have that.
Have you given yourself that space?
No,
do you
I
need
haven't
that
figured
space?
it out. I probably do. Yeah, I could. There's things like self-care that went out the window about 5 years ago when I became a dad.
Okay.
Friendships, everything. There's time to be a parent, to be with my wife. There's the marriage. There's the parenting. And then there's some time for work. And then in
Okay,
there,
I'm
I
not
try
going
to
to sit here and try to be
shower
like
and
a
sleep.
psychologist or something, but I think
No,
you
I
need
know.
some time for yourself.
Yes, I know.
A little bit.
Wouldn't it be nice to see a therapist? Snook told me once when we were shooting these long fucking hours in succession, and then I would go home and parent, and then the weekends would just be full of me like cleaning and parenting. And there was a moment she was like, "You should meditate." I went, "Really? Should I?" I just got so mad. I was like, "Find me time. Put it in the fucking schedule. Like, when am I supposed to find? Yeah, let me take a moment of silence around the screaming kids and the emails coming in with the new scenes that we're doing like tomorrow. Yeah, let me meditate."
What time do you wake up in the morning?
I don't really
What do you
go to
mean you don't
sleep.
wake up in the
I don't
morning?
know. It depends. I don't. Do you? I don't think I've ever woken up at
I
the
woke
same
up
time
at
2 days in a
4:30
row.
this morning.
Why?
Because you know what? Because I need a good 2 to 3 hours just for me before I come out and do all this stuff.
You're nuts.
No.
Do you do that on set? Like if you have like a 5 a.m. call, do you wake up at 3 in the morning?
5 a.m. pickup. I wake up at 3:45.
Get the fuck out of here. You know when if I have a 5 a.m. pickup, you know when I wake up?
Don't tell me 4:45.
5 a.m.
God damn. So you're like a mess getting into the car.
I keep the clothes on the floor.
That's
I
nasty.
wake up. I hit snooze. So 5:09.
No shower.
No, I shower the night before. Always shower before you get into bed.
Yeah,
So
it's
the
true.
moment you start doing that, like you don't put your dirty ass in the bed.
No.
Clean. Put on clean clothes and get in your clean sheets.
So you arrive.
Yeah, I get in the
on
car like
set.
15 minutes late, and
Are you
then
fresh?
I
Are you
show up on
bright-eyed
set.
and bushy-tailed?
No. I get there. I
crabby?
get my own coffee. Thank you.
You
very
get your own.
much.
Cause see, I don't do any of that stuff. Okay.
No, I
okay.
know you like the people
Listen.
helping you. Get my own coffee. Show up. Go to set. Go. What are we shooting today? Oh, I guess I need different clothes then. And then I put some stuff in my hair, and then we shoot the scene.
Okay, my morning is so the opposite. I wake up. I need an hour and 15 minutes just for myself.
Do you go over your lines and you?
Listen, this is the practice. I wake up, get the coffee on. I'll take a nice shower. I got some jazz music going or something like that. I'm really chilling. I'm waking myself up.
Oh, you're like a person.
Yeah, yes. I'm actually getting myself, because I feel like I have to get myself together before I go talk to anyone.
You are a together person. I can see this.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it would drive me crazy, because I feel like I maybe my brain just like, I just need to, so I can always be like, hey, how's it going this morning? Like, I'm always that
What if
person
you
in
were
the
playing
morning.
like a really out there fucking chaotic person who's like, would you still need that?
Same.
You really?
Yeah.
No matter what.
No matter,
So you
no matter
kinda
what
have
character,
like a set
villain
sort of
or
process.
hero,
Really?
you name it. I need the same,
Here's
only because I need
here's
time
a
for
shitty
myself.
question that you probably get asked a
Give me-
lot.
give me
I
the
was
shitty
like,
question.
Yeah, it's because I hate this one myself, so I'm gonna give it. I want to know what it feels like to ask the shitty question. Is there any kind of character that you feel like you want to play that you haven't?
God, that's like a stupid question.
Isn't it the worst?
Because-
I'm like, what am I
It
supposed to do?
is.
Is like, yeah, I've always wanted to be a cowboy, but like
But
a
also,
cowboy
it's so
that's
outside
like,
of yourself and your
know,
experience.
like,
You're like, you know what?
fuck
I
it.
think that we navigate this on the inside. Like, hey, maybe it's not even written yet. I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah, I don't
maybe-
know what the thing is.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the thing is, and also I don't know where I am and how it may want to change me in this moment. I don't know, because I mean,
Wouldn't it be shitty if I had an answer? Like,
what do you feel like? I'd love to play Hamlet.
yeah. But there could be.
I'd love to be in Glengarry Glen Ross.
If you can say it right, then,
I-
then you're
that's- yeah, I
cast.
was-
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
well, I
keeping
just- I
Odenkirk.
just
You're
had a-
out.
I drank a shot
Odenkirk's
just
in.
a minute ago. Right?
Is that what it was? That's why you're so slurry, you drunk bastard. I got a good question. Then,
What? What's-
after your
give me the
question.
good
Do you have is there any note that a director has ever given you that you're like, I can take this with me for all things?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
George C. Wolfe. He broke my shit down on Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. We are in our maybe 4th week of shooting, and I had this monologue that I was going to do.
How long ago?
This was about 3 years ago.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Recent.
this
Somewhat
like
recent.
reinvented my, rearranged my brain again.
Isn't that great? You've been doing this for 30 years, and then
Yeah.
suddenly like your whole process can
He
change.
said
Yeah.
to me, because he would always have a private rehearsal for you, and like really private, not with, ADs and DPs around,
Mm-hmm.
but just actors and director. And he just had me in there, and he says, "Hey, so Colman, so you've been directing a lot, huh?" I was like, "Yeah," like all proud, like, "Yeah, I have." Have you noticed my work?
Yeah, do you need some notes?
Exactly. He said, "Yeah, I can tell because you know exactly the way the scene should be. You have an idea of the arc of the scene." I was like, "Yeah, that's good, right? I do know where we're going, where we're starting, and where we probably need to get to." And he said, "Yeah, but I'm missing the discovery in the moment, and I want to watch behind your eyes, you taking in that information and it shifting you." He said, "Because you cannot recycle vulnerability."
Wow.
And
That's
I was
good.
like, and when it comes to performance, so he took me back to a place where I started, the place that I knew. I started as the most raw actor, always, like feeling and touching and listening to everything, you know? And then I got some skills and figured out how to do it and show up and hit my marks and make it happen.
Yeah.
And he was taking me back to that 21-year-old Colman who was a bit more wild-eyed
Yeah.
and feeling my way through. And really, he unlocked something in me, and it shifted. I can see it in my own work.
Really?
I
You see it like from 3 years ago?
I don't know if I would be able to have done Sing Sing.
Really?
The way I attacked it was, I think, because of George C. Wolfe.
Wow.
I sort of like freed myself again, and really,
Have you ever told him this, or wrote him a little thank you note? He'll watch this.
He'll
shit.
watch this.
King Lear just fell off of a library cart and you just happened to pick it up and read a few pages.
Yeah, shit funny, right?
Sounds
First of all,
good.
this has been so great. 'Cause
I know.
I really feel
This
like
was really-
I almost forgot I actually forgot the cameras were here.
Me
And I'm
too.
just
Oh
like,
shit! Have they been recording? Did I say anything awful? Am I gonna get
You
canceled?
said a few things.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Wait, I had a follow up because I sort of object to, and this will probably bite me in the ass because there were people sitting next to us yesterday that said this. I sort of object to when actors call themselves like storytellers. I don't really like that. I don't. Sorry, Jeremy. But because I don't think I know. So cringy. I should have just said cut. We could end, but I said no. Keep rolling.
No,
I'm
keep
about
going,
to say
keep
some
going,
shit
keep-
that's
keep
terrible.
going.
No, because I think it's that. I don't think that I'm telling the story when I'm doing the scene with someone. Somebody else is telling the story. It's like early when you said like, "Oh, are you aware of the cameras?" I said that's none of my business because I'm not framing the shot. I'm not filming it. I'm also not telling the story. I'm the part of it.
Well,
I
we're
think
all
that,
telling the story. We're
Well,
all.
we're-
I mean, we're all
Yes.
part of it.
I'll bring it back to Real Pain for a second. Like Jesse Eisenberg was really good at making sure everyone was involved, that we were all making this movie. But it was his movie. He wrote it, he's telling the story, but we're all making it. We're all helping him
We're all
make
in
it.
service to the story.
Yes. So sort of to what that note was that you got was like, if you're aware of the story you're trying to tell and you're trying to tell the story in the scene, that's not really your job. It's almost
No,
like
we have to be in service to the story.
Exactly.
We're
And so-
servants of the story.
Yes,
like,
but not
like you said, we're
telling
not, we're not storytellers. We're
Yes.
servants of the story.
There we go. See,
And we
you
give
framed
what-
it better.
No,
See, that is fine. I just don't like,
No, because it does sound very. It can sound very. I don't know. I don't want to say what I think it sounds like.
Yeah, because you're smart about not saying stupid shit on camera, and I'm just talking shit. Anyway,
But I think we come from the same place in that way about like being in service to story.
yeah,
Yeah, but I'm not like it's not this. I'm not.
this
the
isn't
sole
mine, and I'm like,
provider of
I'm
the
not going to
story.
tell the story to the camera. They're doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just doing the thing.
And I got my part, and we'll see what. And right, exactly. You pass it off to the editors and everybody else, and see what happens.
Let's fucking work together, man.
I like that, man.
No, let's do
I
it.
like you, man. No, you're.
I like
you're
you.
And the thing is, you have, and I'll tell this. The thing that I was going to say when I started, but I didn't say, but like the thing that you have, and you have it in every role that you do, especially Igby Goes Down, which is still one of my favorites.
Oh, sweet. Thanks.
You have a sparkle in your eye, man.
Ooh.
And I just hope, no, it's a good sparkle.
Is that a good thing?
I think it's a good thing. And I think I like it, and I hope you keep it.
Why, thank
It's
you.
a good sparkle.
I'm not dead inside yet.
Good.
Give me time.
You're alive.